Welcome. Tonight I'm going to do a video on kind of the situation where you're giving effort and energy to the relationship. Your partner might not be giving as much, and kind of what can happen down the line if that imbalance doesn't change. So I am trying to educate myself as much as possible about dating borderlines. And while I'm not saying that all women have BPD, a lot of the things that I'm learning are, I think, very helpful and valuable to men in order to educate themselves and honestly protect themselves. And one of those that I came across was this I guess the best way to describe this is that Groucho Marx, back in like the 30s, had a joke where he said, "I would never want to belong to a club that would have someone like me as a member." And as ridiculous as contradictory and silly as that is, it seems like there are women, especially women with low self-esteem, for if we're going to give it a label, that feel that way. And so they will have, left on their own, they will have this idea in their mind of like the perfect guy, the perfect boyfriend, the provider. He's great. He's great in the bedroom. He's great out of the bedroom, just understanding, supportive, just, great. And they'll have this picture in their mind, and then say they find him and they date and they get to, going, and they're in a relationship, and this man is perfect, A plus, 10 out of 10, supportive, great in the bedroom, great out of the bedroom, everything is perfect. That because of her issue with low self-esteem, there's going to be a point where she stops and has the thought in her mind, anyone who was perfect would not be in a relationship with someone like me. Basically, any man that's good would not be in a relationship with me. And so at that point, she will, either, break off the thing or relationship, or just kind of, make things bad until the man leaves. But either way, it's kind of this line in the sand where she just says, okay, if he's someone who's always going to be supportive and always going to be giving, then obviously he's not the perfect guy that I was dreaming about, because the perfect guy would have walked out on me a long time ago, because I'm broken, I'm damaged, I don't have, much intrinsic value, etc., etc. And so, the point that I want you to take from this, which is, something healthy anyways, is that when you are in a relationship, honestly, before you get in a relationship, you should understand that you should have lines in the sand as far as, if you cross those lines, I'm walking away. Those are, probably going to be like, being respected, that your partner reciprocates the amount of time and energy that you put into the relationship, or put into supporting them, making them happy, etc., and that you're expecting the same amount. And that you have to be, honest with yourself, and actually have those lines in the sand for real. You cannot bluff this. It has to be real. And also that you communicate this to your partner, verbally, but also just kind of with your actions. And just, maybe there's some times when she kind of messes up a bit, and you just have to get up and say, you know what, I'm going to take a day or two to just reevaluate what I'm getting out of the relationship, because what you did was not acceptable, and I really need to reconsider if this is something that I want to remain in, and just leave. And just, but I mean, just, make it clear you're walking your talk. You can't bluff this. You have to make it clear that if these lines in the sand are crossed, you will walk. Conversely, if you don't, she's probably going to, walk all over you, take advantage of you until she reaches a point where she's just disgusted with you, where she's just like, again, like, my dream man would never put up with what I'm doing. Therefore, he's not my dream man. He's a charlatan. I thought he was, a great guy, but he, doesn't have any spine, or he won't stand up for himself, or, etc. I mean, it doesn't really matter, because at that point she's just like, I don't have any respect for you. I'm not attracted to you. I'm going to leave either immediately, or I'm just going to sabotage the relationship until you leave. But either way, things are just pretty much dead. And so I hope you understand, like, the full irony is that if you're in a relationship and you're giving her your all, regardless of reciprocity, respect, being on the same page, making sure you're happy, etc. If you give your all, it's probably going to end badly and she's going to leave you. But if you hold back, so to speak, meaning, not that you hold back deliberately to withhold, but just that you're like, okay, I'm not going to give you more than I would give myself. And I'm going to make sure that I'm still number one, and that I'm safe and taken care of. And that if you make sure that you treat yourself that way, that so that she can see it, and that you communicate that to her, the irony is that she's probably going to stay with you much, much longer than if you had just given everything. And so, that just kind of was a good point that I came across. I mean, it seems to be very, very applicable to relationships with women with BPD, because they're basically, BPD is just basically like low self-esteem with some spices thrown in. But yeah, hopefully this video has been helpful.